Hi guys, so one of the hard things about growing up and of course moving overseas is apartment hunting. I mean, you gotta find a place to live, and apartment hunting is literally the bane of my life. I know every city has its own struggles that are particular to the city, but the Shanghai struggles, I got you girl, and I'm gonna try to help you out. I feel like I have enough base knowledge to make this video now because ever since I've come to Shanghai, I have rented out 3 apartments. This is my second apartment on my own, and I've lived in a shared apartment once, and then I've also lived in dorms and stuff as well. So this is based on my experience of renting out 3 apartments in the past 3 years. So I had a lot of struggles during this. I had no idea what I was doing. I got tricked a lot, I got pushed around a lot, and it was just a very experience. Like every time I need to find an apartment, I'm just like, ew! So hopefully this will help you out a little bit and just make it a more smooth process. So first things first, I need to quickly disclaim that the standard of living in China and the standard of living that we could be used to in Melbourne or Sydney or America or England or etc. is quite different. So a lot of these apartments are heaps smaller, they're very old, the living standards are just different. Kitchens are small, bathrooms, shower heads are just kind of sticking out on top of the toilet, like there is no shower. It's not westernized, it's very Asian as you would put it. And the design and everything is very Asian as well. So that is a big adjustment. So usually I just try to look for like minimalistic or like IKEA furnished apartments because that's closer to the sort of living style that I'm used to. So that is a big hurdle that you do need to jump over. Secondly, it's also to do with like sort of getting used to living in an apartment complex with a lot of neighbors. And if you're rich enough to live in a high-rise apartment, good for you, but if you're not, you might need to live in lane houses or smaller, lower kind of old apartments, and you will be seeing your neighbors a lot. In Australia, I was used to just living in houses, and even if you lived in apartments, you wouldn't really see your neighbors all the time, but they do get in your face. I've had a few fights with neighbors before. It got intense, so you do need to sort of scope around and make sure that it's a safe neighborhood and that the neighbors aren't going to cause you any troubles. So there are quite a few types of apartments in Shanghai. In Shanghai, you won't really have a house unless you're like a billionaire, and I mean like a billionaire. So you have Longtang Fangzi, which is like old laneway houses, which is what I live in right now. And they're very old. Like this one is probably 100 and something plus years old. So they can be called Shikumen or Gelou Fangzi. So they're usually found in the French concession, former French concession, FFC for short. So things that you need to be wary of: A, there's no stairs. B, the walkways. The stairs are like this narrow, they're very high, they're very dark. Another thing is the waterways. The toilets will get clogged so many times. I'll just put it that far. And then the shower heads, the water is really soft. And then I've had instances where the plaster on my roof has fallen down before because the kid upstairs was jumping around. Also, the windows, they don't close properly, so a lot of air and a lot of cold and hotness will escape in. Also, the sound is very bad. Literally at night, if it's silent, I can hear my neighbor sneezing. And also because the floor, there's not a lot of insulation either, I can't even wear shoes in my house. I can barely wear slippers. I have to walk so softly, or the downstairs auntie will be like, why are you so loud? Like, stop doing that stuff, stop vacuuming. And yes. So another type of apartments is kind of like the older apartments, but they're younger than the lane houses. So these ones are usually about 6 levels high. In maximum, they don't have elevators either, so they're more modern, whereas they have like sort of concrete walls and everything, so the soundproofing is a lot better. You can find nice ones that have been renovating. Normally they're just quite basic. They've got like a kitchen area and they've got a bathroom slot, and they usually have like a living room and then a bedroom, so in like one long style, or otherwise they might just have a living room / bedroom all together. But those ones are generally more spacious, but they don't get a lot of light in because they're just so packed up. And then the third ones are the really nice modern compounds. So you can get ones that range from like 1990s to like 2015 that was being built. And these ones are generally a lot more expensive. They have elevators, they have big windows, and it's very hard to usually find a studio apartment with just 1 bedroom. So usually these ones are for when you're like renting with other people, shared roommates, because they're usually about 2 rooms up. So if you're on your own and you want apartment on your own and you don't have like that big of a budget, it's great to look at sort of the older style houses. Another thing that you have to be super wary of in Shanghai is that it's a very humid city. In summer, you get a lot of mold growing, so never ever live on the first floor. Don't live on the first floor because you'll get a lot of mold. It'll smell moldy. I've lived on the first floor. There was no sunlight. It was moldy, and at winter it was so cold. In summer it was so hot. It was literally just the worst. So here are a few things you need when you go apartment hunting. You need a set of Chinese skills, or you need a friend that can speak Chinese, because you will hardly find any realtors that speak English. So you've got the big companies in China like Lianjia, and you've got websites like M58, Ganjiwang, and etc. So Lianjia is probably like the most professional because it's such a big based one. So photos on their website are quite real. Other websites I just do not recommend you go on. Just the sort of Chinese websites, they're a pain, there's so many, and basically all the photos are fake, and usually all the listings are old. So this is where it just really nerves me, because why are you allowed to use fake photos? If it looks too good for the price range, it is definitely too good. So usually you can contact the person's number and you just be like, 是实拍吗? And just ask them, is this photo real? And usually they'll be quite honest with you. You just be like, no, it's not real. And then usually when you finally find an apartment that you kind of like, you call them, you message them, and they're like, oh, that one's already gone. So they never take down old listings, and apartments literally just go like that in Shanghai. So always check, are the photos real, and is this apartment still available? So what you usually do, I usually just text them because I hate calling people, and I ask them, is this address apartment still available? And they'll call you back. And I'll be like, sorry, that's not available, but I can take you to see a lot more apartments, and they usually take you to see like 1 billion apartments, and none of them are anywhere near what that apartment was like. So if you're set on apartment style, just be like, no, sorry, I just wanted that apartment. Do not call me further. The amount of realtors that call you, they will literally call you for months on end. They'll call you 2 to 3 times a day because your number will get passed around. They'll be like, oh, so I heard you were looking for an apartment like this, blah, 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 blah. So let them know, no, I only want this style of apartment. So recently I've been looking for apartments again, and I've been using the Lianjia app, which is quite alright. A lot of the photos are real, but most of the apartments are taken. But it's actually been alright. I just haven't found anything that I really like. So it's good if you like apps to go on that one. It's a bit more reputable. Now another way to find apartments is to go to an actual realtor office. So every basically lane house area, every compound will have a couple realtors outside, and your best bet is to find one person, tell them all your priorities, all your needs and necessities, and they will help you find an apartment. This person will stick with you. They are like your partner, your soulmate from now on, and this is so much easier because most tenants will just go to the close by realtor right outside their compound and ask them, just be like, yo, I need this apartment let out, can you find someone to do it? So that is your safest bet. So you can ask friends, and you can ask people to give you like WeChat realtors, and then they can talk to you and understand what your needs are. So that one is much more easier, and they won't pass you around to a lot of people, and every time they take you to see an apartment, it will be the same sort of style that you want, and it'll be the same person. So other websites that are expat friendly, for example, are Smart Shanghai, and they have a housing sort of forum and list. You can find offices, you can find apartments to buy, to rent, to lease, and this place I find is the best look for shared apartments because you got a lot of expats posting like, I have a 1-bedroom in Jing'an area, you will share it with 3 other flatmates. There'll be Italian, Japanese, and a local girl, and it'll be like 3,000 RMB or something. So that is definitely your cheapest bet. But of course, with roommates, it's always hard, and you gotta make sure that you really sort of mold with them, and you gotta make sure that the set of time period is right for you, and then the rent, does it cover like electricity, does it cover internet? So that is a good place to find shared apartments if you're an expat. For like an actual whole apartment, I find Smart Shanghai to be quite expensive because expats do get like expat packages here. I don't, because I work at a government owned place, so I get a much lower salary. So I find most of the ones on Smart Shanghai are quite out of my budget. But that being said, I have found a couple that are under 6,000. So most of the realtors on Smart Shanghai are like private realtors. They don't belong to like a Lianjia or something. So they're more easy to talk with, and they are more trustworthy. And basically 99% of the posts on Smart Shanghai are very real. But I would only recommend you to go back to posts ranging in that week, because a lot of apartments are leased and they will not be taken down. So that is a good place to look for apartments as well. So once you find your trusty realtor, you need to get a few things written down and a list. So firstly is price range. Price range is the bane of my life. So with a couple of realtors that I was in contact with, I was like, oh, looking for something 5,000 to 6,000 per month. They'll send you pictures and take you to places that are 10,000. So definitely lower the price that you're looking for by 1,000. So if I'm saying I'm looking for a 6,000 apartment, I'll be like nothing over 5,000, and maybe they'll take you to look at a 6,000 apartment. So make sure you have your price range very set, or just be like, you know what, I cannot afford anything over 7,000. Just make sure they know. And when I went to look for apartments, I really like natural light and sunshine, so I said I need big windows and I need natural light. I don't care if it's near a 地铁, which is subway. So if you want nice light, it's 采光好. If you want big windows, it's 大 大窗口. And then obviously for the metro, it's 地铁. You can tell them which line that you want. For example, I'm closest to 2号线 here, which is line 2. I was very specific that I wanted a proper bathroom. None of that shower head over the toilet business. I said 我要一个好的浴室，一个独立的浴室 that stands on its own. And usually before they call me up and be like, oh, I'll take you to see this house tomorrow at said time, I'll be like, do you have pictures? 有照片吗？是实拍的吗？ Is it real? Do you have photos? And I'll get them to send it through. Otherwise, they'll take you to see a lot of rubbish places. So I'm always like, if you don't have photos, I'm not going. You can go ahead and go there first and take photos and then send them to me. But if for some reason they're not sending you photos, there's definitely something wrong with the apartment. Another thing that you have to make sure is if it's which direction it's facing. 比如 like 朝南、朝西、朝北. 朝南 has the best sunlight. So if you're on other sides, you're not gonna get a lot of sunlight, especially if you rented a level 1 apartment, no sunlight. And level 1, you're just gonna get mold and smelly stuff. So when you're looking for apartments, there's a lot of face-to-face and a lot of contracts and a lot of handwritten things. So you will get your chance to meet with the landlord. There's a lot of things that you need to discuss. For example, let's talk about price first. So how to negotiate your rent. Make sure that you can afford the deposit and the rent. Most landlords will want 2 to 3 months in advance for deposit. So example, if my rent was 6,000, I would have to pay 18,000 in deposit in one go. If you don't have that money, you can't get it, right? So make sure you have enough money for the deposit and your future rent. And then when you pay the rent, you have to ask them, does this cover internet? Does this cover electricity or water, gas? Most of the times it doesn't. So make sure you remember you will have to have internet on top of that, which will probably be like 1,500 for the year. Gas and water, electricity on top of that per month, which might range from 200 to 300 for each month on top of that. So make sure you are remembering those things. Now when you're negotiating with the landlord, the realtor will be there. They won't really help you. They just kind of sit there to make sure, you know, everyone's getting what they want. Bring a Chinese speaking friend, bring an older person, dress older, make sure you look stern. If you're an expat, they will likely bully you. If you're a girl and young, they will likely bully you. So I always bring like my mum's friends, an auntie, and she helps me negotiate the price. So if you can't negotiate the price any lower, like last time we negotiated for 30 minutes and we only got 50 yuan lower, which is like $10 Australian, but money is money. But what else you can negotiate for is, for example, look at the house, make sure everything is okay. If anything needs fixed, just be like, I need you to fix this before I move in. Can you put in a new toilet? Can you fix the windows? I want new blinds. I should have asked for new blinds because my blinds are shocking. So with this apartment, he wouldn't lower the price any further. So I asked for a new couch because the couch was disgusting and I said I wanted a sofa bed. So I found one online and then I sent him the link and he bought it. He didn't give me a price range, so I chose something that was around 500 to 600 RMB. Which is like a bargain for him because that's only a one-time payment. Whereas if I got 200 RMB of my rent off every month, that will be 2,400 RMB in the whole year. So there's a lot of things you can negotiate for. So make sure you negotiate. Hustle, man. Shanghai hustle. Another thing to ask your landlord is, do they live nearby? Can they come and help fix things? So my landlord actually renovated this place himself. So if anything goes wrong, he can come and fix the windows, fix the toilet, etc, etc. If they don't live nearby, make sure you get numbers of like plumbers, electricians that they use that are reputable. And whenever you need to get something fixed, make sure you take a photo of the receipt and show them, WeChat it to them or whatever, and deduct it from your rent, because usually you will have to pay for it first. And especially check things like washing machines and your stoves and air cons, because usually the air cons are a lot old. So make sure to ask them to clean it out before you come in, otherwise it won't work properly. So on your final day, once you meet the landlord, you pay your deposit and everything, you can also try to negotiate that, can I pay a lower deposit? For example, can I pay 2 months instead of 3 months because I really can't afford it right now, but I guarantee you that I will be able to afford the month-to-month payments. Usually the Chinese landlords will want 2 months at a time, so you'll pay them every second month or every third month. My one for some reason pays every month and it's a pain in the ass. But just make sure you do that, and you can negotiate the terms. I mean, they're not monsters. They will try and negotiate with you. So make sure you just try for everything. Leave no stone unturned. So when you sign the contract and everything, just take pictures of everything and do not throw it away. You will need your contract to register at your local police station. You will need your contract to refer back to, etc, etc. So once everything's signed and done, there will be a move-in date so you can move in. Usually I always ask the landlord to do like quite a thorough cleanup before I come in, because the people who move out before me, they usually never clean. And even you ask for a thorough cleanup, it's like so-so, but at least the work is a little bit better than if, you know, you had to do it all yourself. So I also usually ask the realtor to 推荐 what's the Chinese English word? Oh, recommend me like a cleaning 阿姨. So it's someone who lives nearby in the neighborhood, and if they're good, you can always ask them to come more and more often, and then they can come and do a thorough cleanup of the house. And I also ask where's the nearest like water delivery people, because I have like a water dispense thingy. And then make sure you get to know the neighborhood as well. Don't just move into a neighborhood like blindly. Ask them where the nearest, post office is, the nearest police station is. You will need those places. Where the nearest supermarket is, how to get to the metro, etc, etc. There's a lot of things that you need to ask. Don't be afraid of being annoying. Just be as annoying as you can be. So lastly, I wanted to teach you a few phrases that I think will be quite useful in Mandarin. So if you walk in, just be like, 我要租一个房子. I want to rent a place. 我是一个人个人的 like a private one bedroom. If you want to share, be like 我要合租的 which is like with other people. You can say that you want 高楼的 which is like a high-rise building, or you just want like 阁楼的老房子，你可以说老房子 which is like old laneway houses. If you want good lighting, say 采光好. If you want big windows, so 我要大的窗口，独立的洗手间 which is like independent, stand alone on its own bathroom. And also ask them for like 我要 like 豪华装修 which is very like nicely renovated, but sometimes they're nice is a little bit to us. You can ask them for like 简单干净的装修 which is easy yet clean, etc etc. You can ask for like 宜家装修 which is like IKEA furnished. And also make sure to let the realtor know that what you need is furniture. 比如我需要一个床 which is bed, 我需要一个沙发，我需要桌子，我需要椅子，我需要离地铁近一点，我需要离2号地铁近一点。I need to be close to line 2. I need to be close to a metro station. And then another one like 最近的超市在哪儿 Where is the nearest supermarket? 最近的派出所在哪儿 Where is the nearest police station? 这里的邻居怎么样 What is the neighbors like? What are the neighbors like here? And then for rooms, be like 我要一个卧室 which is one bedroom, 我要一个厅 which is living room, 我需要一个厨房 I need a kitchen, and 一个浴室 which is a bathroom. If you want to know where the landlord lives, so it's more convenient if you need to fix something, just be like 房东住在哪儿 And then if you want to know which level it's on, 在哪个楼上 which level is it on? And if you don't want level 1 or ground floor, 我不要1楼的Got it? 我的预算是5000到6000 My average sort of estimate is 5000 to 6000千万不要超过6000 For sure, do not go over 6000 我付不起的 I cannot afford it. Make them feel sorry for you. So that is all that I can sort of muster in my little brain so far. It's been quite a long video, so I think I've crammed as much information in as possible. I am on the hunt again for an apartment, and it's hard. It's still hard. It's still a struggle. And with the sort of suburbs and the inner city, the location in Shanghai, it's very different. It's very confusing, and it's very important as well. So if you want me to do another separate video on like what are the best locations to live in Shanghai, which suburb offers what, which suburb suits you the best, whether you go to university or you work in corporate, or you need to be closer to the French concession, or you want to be close to a metro station, etc etc. That is completely, I can make a separate video on that as well. But so far me, my little Kika are quite happy here. But yeah, just let me know if you have any other questions. I can make more videos on house hunting and apartment hunting in Shanghai, because it is very complicated and you need to have wits and skill to survive. Post your comments down below and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. 再会